Hey, everybody, and welcome to Dicing with Death. How are you doing today, Ryan?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Good to hear that. Um, let's do a quick recap of what happened last time. Let's see.
Yeah, why don't we?
We sailed across the ocean and got to Sinteron. Um,
Yes, on this river delta,
mm-hmm,
on the edge of the jungle.
mm-hmm.
Um,
Where
see, so you were yeah,
we
sailing in the company of Lucifron the Moonblade.
and the
Um,
wolf person, the dog-faced man, the
yeah,
knoll.
well, yeah,
Yeah.
Noel. How'd you guess? Um, so Sinteron is this like jungle port village. All sorts of crazy creatures that you had never seen before, or maybe you had seen a little bit, but gnolls and lizard men, even a troll or two
mm-hmm.
mixed in amongst the population. Um, so you messed around in that town for a little bit, tortured a gnoll,
Mm-hmm.
got in some street fights,
Mm-hmm.
the usual. Um, you found it kind of a chaotic and yeah, chaotic when you got there, so it was sort of hard to spread any more disorder.
Yeah, I was a bitch.
A lot of the people looked pretty rough and tumble, and you weren't sure if you wanted to mess with them. And Lucifron reminded you that you had business to attend to,
Mm-hmm.
so you hired a guide to get you through the jungle, take you to Jarvis
Mm-hmm.
in search of these ruins. So you decided to take the overland route, um, followed northwest along the river. Where's my little pinger? Pew! There was a trail for a bit, but eventually it sort of disappeared into the jungle, and you were glad that you hired a guide. Your guide was a gnoll, but it was not the same gnoll.
No. And
Yeah,
did not go
his name
well for
was
my
Wolf, I
guide.
believe.
Yeah.
No, well, first let's see. You before you left Cintron, you bought a goat, if you remember that. And then this
Mm-hmm.
river right here, there was a bridge crossing it with a troll that lived underneath the bridge, and you gave the goat as tribute, so you didn't have to fight the troll.
Right.
Um, Then you continued on through the jungle, got to this huge waterfall here. Probably the third night of journeying. I guess there were a few events along the way. Creepy creatures in the forest watching you at night. You killed one and never actually investigated what it was.
Nope.
I think that's about it. So at the base of the falls, you camped there overnight with the intention of scaling the fall in the morning. And then that night, your party was ambushed by lizard men that came out of the river.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's see. Rolf fought bravely, and the Moonblade showed off some pretty impressive magic tricks. But despite this, you appeared to be overwhelmed. So mid-battle, Solomon switched sides, um, uh,
Yeah.
casting some cause moderate wounds on the Moonblade. Um, his hand got ripped off by a lizard man. Eventually, he went down between your help and the lizard men. Um, at which point, you cast a darkness spell, hid under Lucifron's body like a coward, and waited until morning.
Uh-huh. Well,
At
that's
which
it.
point, you got up and looted the corpses of your companions
Mm-hmm.
and proceeded alone. You scaled the precarious staircase and rope ladders and whatnot that got you to the top of the falls and continued fumbling through the jungle for another day or so, eventually reaching Jarvis, which is a small village on the shores of this river here. I don't think anything particularly eventful happened there. Eventually, you found a villager who could lead you to the ruins outside of town for quite a price. It seemed like the ruins have everyone kind of spooked.
Mm-hmm.
So he led you to the ruins, or at least near them. You follow. There was a great stone road, like, sort of buried underneath the jungle, that led to the ruins. And so eventually he sort of deposited you in the jungle and said, "They're just around the corner. I'll be here to pick you up tomorrow," but refused to go any further.
Mm-hmm.
And so you rounded the corner and saw a olive-skinned ogre leaning up against a stone pillar with a great club. Actually, he was asleep, I think. And you boldly proceeded to walk up to him and rouse him from his slumber. And I think that's about where we left off, isn't it?
I walked a little bit further, I
Yeah.
thought.
Yeah. So he said, I don't remember what you had some brief conversation with him.
The dark mistress is further in, or something like that.
Yeah, he agreed to take you to his dark mistress.
Uh-huh.
And so let's.
Ooh, new map.
Ooh. So, if you can see in the bottom, like the bottom middle there, where I'm pinging.
Mm-hmm. Yes, yep.
Those are the two stone pillars that bordered the road with the carvings on them. You did see there were all sorts of like hieroglyphics and whatnot, but there was a scarab on there.
Right.
If you remember your conversation with
I do remember
the
the
ogre,
scarab.
you drew out your holy symbol and he pointed to the statue. So, anyways, he led you further down the road, or leads you. I mean, this is sort of happening now. I think this happened at the end of your session. So you sort of round this bend and get to this point here, where the trees sort of part. You look down, so this is like several hundred feet down a staircase into the ruins below. Directly ahead is this great step pyramid. It's probably about 100 feet high, and so where you're standing now is about at level with the top of the pyramid.
Okay.
And yeah, so you see these ruins sort of laid out for you below.
I didn't get taken into a room with a tall woman, like a giant woman.
I don't recall any of this.
Okay, I thought the ogre led me into a pit with a big ass woman who smiled at me or something, or maybe I was dreaming.
I think you're totally making this up and like trying to read my mind.
Is there a pit with a woman in it?
Not quite, but you're closer than I would have, and would have, like, I don't know. It's kind of creepy how close you are, but I don't think this actually happened.
Okay.
Full disclosure, I mean, like when we were like teenagers, I had a similar adventure to this. I think it's unlikely that you would remember that.
No, I'm pretty sure you took me to a big woman.
Yeah, I for the most part, chat seems to be agreeing with me. I don't think that you met whoever his mistress was. I think we stopped when you reached the top of the staircase and looked down.
Okay.
Over the roof.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, no,
maybe,
you haven't met his.
Maybe these are my fantasies that I'm having. Giant women.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Cool.
So you had asked where he was, and he didn't even know where she was, and I didn't even know where she was at that moment. He said she's probably at the pyramid.
Cool. Well, I descend the stairs
Okay.
and start circling the big step pyramid looking for a front door, which seems to be over here.
Yeah, I didn't bother hiding things. I'm curious, I tried playing with like the GM overlay. Can you see?
I can't see anything on the GM overlay.
Well, I don't know okay. So do you see any writing or anything like that?
I see no writing.
Okay, so I've got like pyramid labeled. And you can't see that.
I cannot see that.
That is as intended. So the ground level is mostly like stone, where I drew green blobs are just like jungle overgrowing. Yeah, so the buildings are as indicated. Most of them are in state of disrepair and caved in. Yeah, so there's this. I don't know. The squares should be 25 feet. So I think the pyramid's like 200 feet by 200 feet at the base. I don't know if I actually changed the scale, but anyways. So the ogre is sort of following. I'll change the scale real quick. but you just need to multiply that by 5 or something like that.
Right, right.
So the ogre is sort of trailing, like,
Behind me?
yeah, like 10, 15 feet behind you, but he isn't really interfering. He seems to just be silently letting you do whatever it is you're planning on doing.
Okay. Well, I head to the step pyramid, and
Okay.
if the doors are open, I walk through. If they're not open, I open them and walk through.
Okay. So the pyramid is made from like great stone bricks. All of it is intricately carved with various hieroglyphics and murals and that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you sort of circle around the pyramid a bit, spend a few minutes exploring. You do find the like an opening as indicated there. Um, it looks like there may have been like a stone door at some point, but it is at this point like removed. And so there is just an opening in the side of the pyramid there. It descends down a staircase.
Is it lit?
It is not lit, and it's like pitch black down
Okay.
below. Yeah, it's about a 45-degree staircase sloping straight down, and there's also staircases going up the side of the pyramid on all 4 sides. Sorry for not mentioning that a second ago.
It's fun. Wouldn't have
So,
changed my plan.
yeah, north, south, east, west. There are staircases leading up to the top of the pyramid. So you get to the door there, and you're looking down, about to step in. Let me get my dice ready. Okay. Yeah, you sort of are startled and jump as you hear a seductive female voice from behind you saying, "Well, what have we here?"
Uh, I slowly turn around and say, I am Solomon the Cruel.
Okay. So you see stepping out from behind this like shrubbery right here. So probably like 40 feet behind you.
Mm-hmm.
Her voice was pretty loud though, almost eerily so.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just looks like a human female woman. She's wearing like a black robe, but it's sort of impractically deep V cut, showing off some pretty impressive cleavage. Yeah,
Human woman?
dark human. He looks to be human. Yeah, about 5.5 feet tall. Very like dark tanned skin, and black hair. And she starts stepping towards you. So note the ogre is about 15 feet like south of you there, and you're standing at the doorway.
I fold
She
my
has
arms in my sleeves, my tattered and blood-stained black-robed sleeves,
Mm-hmm.
and look at her and say, Are you the one who has done all this? And I look about.
By the way, she does have a gnarled wooden staff.
Okay.
This, and she sort of stops maybe 25 feet in front of you and taps the stone floor.
Mm-hmm.
No. This is older than even I.
But you are here making use of this place, yes?
She sort of smiles. I've taken up residence. There are many secrets to uncover beneath these stones.
I draw out my Beelzebub holy symbol and just kind of like plainly lay it on top of my robes and say, Well,
She starts to walk closer towards you, looks intrigued.
let's share some secrets.
So underneath her hood, you notice she's got like a bandana tied around her head, like a yeah, like over the top. That makes sense. Sort of like a pirate. Arr.
Arr. What have you found of this place?
I have to admit, your bravery intrigues me, but I'm not entirely convinced that I need you. And she's continuing to walk towards you, and so she gets like right up in your face.
How tall is
She's
Solomon?
It's like 5'11", I believe. So you're
Yeah.
taller than her.
Okay.
She smells vaguely of like rotten vegetation,
Just how I like them.
and she sort of leans in. So she just said, "I'm not convinced I need you" or whatever, and then she immediately leans in and sort of starts to sniff your neck, and you smell more like food to me.
Now.
She sort of licks her lips.
Foreplay later, business first.
The ogre's previously deadpan face is sort of turned into a sinister-looking smile. You hear some rumbling or something. Yeah, some commotion coming from down the staircase.
I glance back towards the staircase, and while I do so, I say, "If you're thinking about getting rid of me, one of the moon blades from the sandstone tower had a rough time with that." And I start to reach for... Oh shit! I got rid of his weapons, didn't I? I'm wearing the bracers.
I think you have his. Yeah, but I think you have his dagger.
No, I got rid of his dagger.
Did you get rid of that too?
Yeah, I pull out. I guess I'm wearing his Vem braces, so I roll up my sleeve to show a Vem brace while I look towards the staircase.
She's silent, but it doesn't really appear to. She doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't seem to impress her or anything like that.
Well, it should impress her. He was like a 6th level character.
Not quite.
Well, if you add up all his levels, maybe more.
Actually, yeah, in that case. Do you know what ogre? Spoiler alert! Do you know what ogre's infravision is?
They don't have infravision.
They don't have any infravision.
Not as far as I can remember.
Okay. So then when you just a few seconds ago when you looked down the staircase, you did see some light spilling up, like torchlight, flickering light.
Okay.
So yeah. So she reaches out and tries to touch your holy symbol. So
I keep an eye on her to make sure that that's all she touches. But yeah, I let her touch the holy symbol.
Her other hand is on her staff. So her left hand's on her staff and her right hand's reaches out to touch your holy symbol.
Okay. And for the record, the spells I sent you are still there. So light, call upon faith, darkness, fear, cause moderate wounds, hesitation, aid.
Light, not dark. Okay, yeah. You've got light and
darkness.
Light, yeah. Okay. Okay. So she's sort of massaging your scarab with her thumb.
So, are you going to tell me what you found, or do I have to get these secrets out of you in a different way? Says the 8 charisma cleric with greasy black ponytail.
She's way out of your league. So the noise behind you is getting louder. Are you keeping your attention on her, or?
Yeah.
Okay. So she goes from massaging your scarab to sort of twisting and getting a grip of your necklace.
Okay. As she does that, I want to...
Attempting to tug you out of the way, or tug you towards her.
Okay. I let her tug me towards her, but I also want to, put my hand on her neck if possible.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to do an attack roll or something, since we're so close. Yeah.
Go ahead, make an attack roll against AC 10.
Okay. Just +1 or any bonuses for being grappled and this close? Is she dodging? I don't know.
Just make an attack roll against AC 10. So only +1.
21.
Okay. So are you
Not a
trying to
pony.
be like violent and choke her, or is this like,
I
or
want
is
to
this
give
just
it
being?
enough force that it's serious. I don't want to like
Mm,
cause her harm, but I definitely want to do like a hey, let's
Mm-hmm.
be serious now. Also, I want a nice good grip so I can cause moderate wounds if I need to.
Okay. All right. So she's got her fist around your necklace.
Mm-hmm.
You're pretty much face to face, and then
Mm-hmm.
you've got your hand at her throat. Her breath is actually pretty disgusting. Like, it smells like, I don't know, like she maybe just ate a steak
So you're
and didn't brush her
saying
teeth.
she's from
So it's
England?
something of the sort. Although her teeth are pretty much perfect.
Damn it! All right.
All right. And then behind you, you hear a loud commotion and grunting,
Call
and you
off your
see an
guards.
ogre sort of shove past you with
Oh,
a like giant like sack on his back
okay. Well,
of a
whatever
giant
happens, I do
fleece.
not want to let go of her neck.
Okay, so you stay in that awkwardly close position, face to face, and the ogre sort of dumps out a couple of sacks full of dirt onto the ground next to you.
What are you digging for, darling?
Secrets. And she sort of pushes you backwards. Do you keep a
Uh,
grip on her neck?
oh yeah, I try to resist being pushed backwards, and I want to keep the close positioning and grip.
Okay, so she's let go of your neck, and I don't know.
I want to actually start tightening my grip around her throat a little bit. Not enough to like choke her, but definitely enough to be like, we're done when
Yeah.
I'm done. Barach.
Yeah. Hold on a sec. Yeah. Okay. I mean, you sort of try to tighten, but it's like not compressing as much as you think it would, and it feels sort of rough, like you're trying to squeeze like a tree branch or something. So it's sort of scratchy on your hands, and it's not really compressing all that much.
Okay.
Um, so she's sort of pushed you back. So you've still got your grip, but you're at like arm's length now.
Okay.
Um, okay, and she smiles and she says, "Enough of this, darling. Come, see my court."
I let go of
Do
her.
you release her? Okay. So
Yeah.
she turns around and starts walking towards this building here.
Okay.
Okay. You follow?
Yeah, I totally follow.
Okay. All right. The ogre who had collected the dirt goes back down below the pyramid,
Mm-hmm.
and the other one seems to, I don't know. He doesn't follow you guys.
Okay.
All right. So she walks into this building. It's just an open archway. You don't know if there was once like a door that's since rotted off or what, but she steps inside of that building.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's dim like torchlight coming out of it, but yeah, it's not particularly well lit.
Okay.
All right. Hmm. I might as well show you the map of this stuff. How do I get Fog of War? Yes. Hmm. All right. I think the previous map is prettier, but just to give you an idea of what the scale of this building. Okay, you can't see the text on this, can you?
Nope.
Okay, but you do see
I
sort of
see
like
the
a diagram.
orange circle and what looks like shelves.
Yeah, so this is like an aerial view. This is like a main room. These are stone benches
Okay.
lining the room. The orange circle is a giant like brass chalice
Oh.
um, with some sort of carvings on it, and then this is like a raised stage or something, on top of which there's a giant chair, sort of fashioned from like looks recently put together from like fresh trees.
Can you give me the dimensions of the chalice and the chair?
Uh, the chalice. Hold on a sec. I'll describe it in a sec, but I
Okay.
feel like there's more important details of the room.
Of course.
So okay, so she stepped in about 5 feet, 10 feet. When you step in, you're immediately greeted with the stench of like death, like decaying flesh, and some of it fresher. So a mix of fresh blood and rotting flesh. And you look in the pews. There's probably about a half dozen skeletal bodies. Like arranged in the stone benches, all of which are elaborately dressed up. So wearing
They're complete skeletons. There's no
they're
fleshing.
skeletons. Yeah, they're dead. No, there's no flesh. Although there's like bits of flesh remaining. So it looks like they were recently, like it hasn't rotted off. It looks like they were recently, I don't know, dismembered.
Dismembered, but not
Something.
recently exhumed, right?
What does that mean? No, they look recent, like reasonably freshly killed.
Okay.
And yeah. So yeah, there's about half dozen of them variously arranged with like feathered, I don't know, hats and jewelry and someone playing creepy dress up. And she walks towards the altar or whatever you'd call it, the stage.
Mm-hmm.
The chalice is probably like 3 feet in diameter.
Okay.
And stands maybe like 3-4 feet off.
That's a very large cup.
Yep. So over here, there's 3 doorways.
Okay. And the chair looks like how big?
The actually, no,
Just like throne sized?
it's a big ass throne, but it looks
Okay.
like it's made for a human.
Okay.
So these two, there are no doors on. Like there's a doorway, but no door. This one, it looks like there's like a wooden barricade. I mean, it's like a door that was recently fashioned and put over the doorway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so she proceeds to the front and sits in the throne.
Well, is this what you meant by court?
And sort of assumes a leisurely, I don't know, recline into the throne, and gestures, I don't know, like that, as if you're not sure if she wants you to sit or what.
I come and just kind of stand before her and look about.
Where do you stand?
Beside the chalice.
Okay. It's empty.
Okay. So, what have you found, sweetheart? I say with sarcasm.
Not the life force I was looking for, but it's been interesting.
What did you expect to find?
Probably the same thing you expect to find.
I smile. I'm here because of a vision I had. I'm not sure what to expect. What's under the pyramid?
The relics of a better time.
You just kind of stare.
Bodies and carvings and all the fun creatures that lurk in the dark. She points to the wooden barricade over the door.
Mm-hmm.
She asked, "You asked what I found here, and that's for you."
Barricaded behind a door.
She giggles.
Ladies first, I presume?
She says, "No, it's your present. Whenever you wish to unwrap it."
I sigh and start walking towards it. If I have to buy a new robe, you're paying for it, I say, as I start to take down the barricade.
So when you get up to, you hear a scratching against the backside, just a slow.
Okay.
Can you hear that?
Yeah, I can hear that. The barricade, I take it, is like just crap piled on it. It's not like boards
No,
nailed.
it's like it's boards nailed together. They're not like boards. They're like like pieces of jungle trees and
Right.
shit, but they are like latched together.
Okay. I do what I can to take them off, and while I do so, I say, "Hello, is anyone inside?"
Okay. If you catch out of the corner of your eye, she's sort of leaning forward with anticipation.
It's fine. I can take whatever this is.
Okay.
Hello, is there someone inside for me?
Okay. So are you trying to take the door apart, or it seems like you could move it as a single piece.
Oh
Like
yeah, then
there's
I
like
totally. Well, then I
so
knock.
it's like a yeah.
Okay. Well, then I knock first and say such taunting words, and then I slowly open. Does it open inside or towards me?
Towards you. And it's sort of like latched to the wall on one side and like locked on the other. It's crudely put together, but it'll function as a door if you wish to use it as such.
Okay. I start to open it and like I peer around the corner, but I have all of my body but like my chin up behind the door as I open
Okay.
it.
Okay. So as soon as you like undo the little latching mechanism and start to open it, the door flies out towards you, and you see a flash of ivory as something leaps out at you.
Oh my god.
So you are not surprised. So let's go ahead and roll initiative. So before you have a chance to register what's jumping at you, do you want to declare an action? So are you attacking it or?
No, I was actually going
yourself?
to pull out my dagger and go into the guard position. That's
Okay.
my
Do you
action.
have your dagger already out?
No, I would have to draw it.
Okay. Okay. What was your initiative?
D10 plus 2. 10. Ugh. Ugh.
Okay. So whatever this is goes first. Okay. So the door flies open and you see a skeleton standing in front of you. It bashes the door open and leaps at you, just going at you with bare skeleton hands. But you sort of shove it off and draw your dagger.
Okay. I opt not to
It
make
looks like
a melee attack this round.
Okay. It looks to be humanoid. This one is so this isn't freshly killed.
Right.
All of the flesh has since decayed, so it is just pure white bone.
Okay. I make no melee attack, and I will wait till next round and use my innate clerical ability.
Okay. So you see into the room behind. There's at least two more of the creatures, sort of shoving to get out.
I smile, and
Okay.
I take a quick glance back if I think it's safe, and say, "Oh, you shouldn't have."
Okay. She's sort of like sitting in her chair, leaning forward as if she's enjoying a show. All right. So next round, let's do initiative.
What is the initiative for Command Undead?
For some reason, 6 is popping into my mind.
Done.
Let me see if I can find it though. Undead. It's an action requiring 1 round and occurring during the character's turn in initiative order. So you know what? I think it's probably just by your size.
Okay.
Or is it? It can't be 0. That's stupid.
That would be dumb.
It's probably so 4 for medium, or is it 3 for medium?
3 for medium.
Okay.
Okay. So instead of 15, that's a 12.
A 12?
Yeah.
Okay. So these the skeletons go first. Two of them have pushed their way out, and there's one sort of stuck behind in the doorway.
Okay.
Okay. So they each claw you. I guess for only 1 damage each. So let's make it 2. I don't even. What does a punch usually deal from just like a regular person? Is it D2 or is it?
Small soft objects are D2 or 3. Shit, I just looked this up for JP the other day. I just looked this up.
And is some of that temporary? I mean, I'm not sure if I'd call a skeletal fist soft, but
Okay, then there's
they are
small
designed
soft
to
and
be-
small hard objects. They do different amounts of damage.
and they are designed to be. I mean, skeletons, I guess, generally just use weapons.
Yeah. Where is this information? Hold on. I'll find it shortly. Any moment now. Damage.
I don't really care that much. You can just take 2 damage and we can move
Okay,
on.
I'll take 2 damage. Unarmed attack. Pull trip. No. No. Somewhere. Alright, I'll find it later. I take 2 damage.
Okay.
That's the only 2 damage I've taken. I am at 11.
Okay.
Okay. And I want to command undead.
Okay.
So I go through the flares and the gestures and whatnot. And that's basically the same thing as turn undead, but I get...
Yeah, so do you have the table or do you want me to? So you just roll, it's a d20, right?
Yeah, it's a d20. I think it's page 136 in the player's
Yeah,
handbook.
I've got it here.
Okay.
So you're level 3, so your chance, so you just got to roll is it this or higher? It's 4 for skeletons. So you have to roll a 4 or higher, or is it higher than a 4?
Do the numbers go down or up as you level?
They go, I mean, it's up. They go down. So you need to roll either above a 4 or a 4 or
4 or above. Okay.
It's turned
9.
Yeah, 4. Okay. So the 2 creatures sort of step back and to the side, and the one in the doorway actually takes a knee.
Sweet. Do I get all of them? Can I? How many hit dice can I turn?
More than this.
Sick. Cool.
I think it's like 2d6 hit dice or something. I guess I should roll in case you accidentally get a 2.
No. You can just give me the 3 of them. That's fine.
Well, actually, maybe I should figure that out. Could be more fun this way.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Or is it the level of? It just says up to 12 undead can be commanded. That's stupid.
That is stupid.
I don't know. Up to 2d6 undead are turned by a successful. Yeah. We'll get into more details as necessary. But okay. Yeah, all 3 of them yield.
Okay. Sweet.
Behind you, she laughs and claps.
So, that was a lovely little gift you gave me. I say to her.
She doesn't respond. You see the room they were in looks like a pantry, and you do see a wooden or a stone staircase leading down below.
Okay. What's down the stairwell?
He says, "I don't know. we found those nasties in there and boarded them in.
Hmm. Can I give commands to my undead creatures, or?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're like yours.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, I mean they're yours until you break them.
What level of commands can I give them, and how?
I mean, typical for skeletons. I mean, you'll have to sort of play with it and see.
Okay, that's fine. Uh, I look about the room and say, "Well,
Yeah. So
how?"
these are the these are the first undead creatures you. I mean, I'm sure you've read or heard about them or whatever, but this is the first you've ever seen aside from those crawling claws at the necromancer's hut.
Yeah.
So you're not actually sure how they will behave.
Okay. Okay.
So they're sort of there's yeah. So the two are up against the wall on either side of the doorway, and the one is still kneeling in the doorway, and they've just sort of stopped.
Okay. I look at them and say, wait for further commands." And then look back at her and say, "What are you excavating under the pyramid?"
Same as you, digging for treasure. It's rumored that somewhere down there is a key to a second life.
Well, today is a great day, and I start walking back towards her. I say we should, what's the right word? Cement our bond. And I keep walking towards her. Do you have a person lying about somewhere that we could use? I would very much love to make a sacrifice to Beelzebub today.
Sadly, I've eaten them all. And
Well,
she gestures to the half dozen bodies sitting before her.
isn't that a
Perhaps this
shame?
is something you could help me with.
I have food coming tomorrow. I mean, I have a guide coming tomorrow to take me back to the village. I roll my eyes.
Only one.
I didn't know what to expect.
Can he bring horses for my ogres?
No. It's not my job to feed your troops. If you are an incompetent commander, I can take over for you, though.
The laugh was as creepy as it sounded.
Excellent.
um, oh, they'll obey me. It's your safety I can't guarantee if they get hungry.
Well, let the first one try. The second one won't. How long until you're done excavating the pyramid?
She shakes her head.
Well, I do appreciate the warriors, but to be honest, I expected more when I got here.
You expected.
Yes,
She stands up from her chair. I was not expecting you.
our lord did not tell you I was coming.
Your lord is dead and buried beneath that pyramid.
I kind of straighten up a little bit this and say, and what do you mean by that? Who do you
What do you think
serve if
I
no
mean?
one, if not Beelzebub?
Beelzebub has not been uttered on the face of this earth in hundreds of years. You are the last of a dying kind.
No, no, no. I'm the last of an undying kind.
Boom.
Well, perhaps I should make camp until you finish excavating the pyramid for me.
Excavate it yourself.
You have ogres to do this work for us.
Her voice has changed, by the way.
How's it changed?
I mean, like at first she was nice and sexy and seductive, and now it's sort of how I'm imitating it.
Okay, that's
Sort
fine.
of scratchy and, I don't know, cackly.
That's fine.
Maybe she's lost her cool and is no longer covering up. You notice faintly in the background there's music playing. Sort of an ominous sounds of horns echoing throughout the room.
Okay. Well, I will require chambers. Do you have another room?
Make yourself comfortable and stay out of my way. But I will not harm you for now, so long as you earn your keep.
You do not realize that you are just a pawn in Beelzebub's plan. Believe me, were you to somehow manage to harm me, great evil would befall you.
Alright, so give me just a second. Okay. She says, as I said, make yourself at home. And she's already standing.
Okay.
She sort of taps her staff on the ground and then just vanishes.
Nice parlor trick. Warriors, with me! And I walk outside. And as I start walking, I glance to make sure they're following me.
Yeah.
Yes.
They sort of assemble into a line.
Yes. All right. I walk outside and I start looking for another building that I can make my house in.
Let's see. All right.
I guess I go to this building first.
Okay. So there's a doorway on that side, but the roof of the building has caved in, and there's like a pile of debris on the floor.
This will not do.
Rotten dust.
I make my way over here.
Okay. It's a large empty building. The wall in here is caved in, and there's like some plants growing in, but otherwise it's mostly intact.
Is it made of stone or wood?
All these buildings are made of stone.
Okay.
Quite intricately carved. Murals and hieroglyphics and stuff. There is pretty much nothing in here. There's a lot of refuse, like stone wreckage and even like some old rotten wood.
Okay.
As you rifle through it, it looks like there are even a few bones strewn about.
Warriors, remove the debris from this building. And I point to the collapsed corner. Remove the plants and debris from that corner.
Okay. They start shambling around and dragging bits and pieces one at a time out of the building.
Okay. I want to watch them for 4 or 5 minutes to make sure that they're doing things in a manner that would actually make sense for me. Like they're actually removing the debris and putting it outside, but they're not putting it like in the doorway. They're putting it like 20 or 30 feet away. And if they don't do that, I will micromanage them to do so until they can do it on their own.
Okay. They're managing to. They seem to be doing what you asked them. They're just indiscriminately taking anything that's on the ground and dragging it and piling it up outside.
Okay. Good. I want to climb to the top of the pyramid then.
Okay. Do you leave the 3 skeletons?
I leave them to work on their own.
Will?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you wish to climb up?
You said there are 2 staircases. One
there's
There's
So
four?
far, you've seen. I mean, you've seen three. It looks like there's one on each side. You
Okay,
haven't
well then
been
I'll
to the
just
top
climb
side.
up this stairway, these stairs. Right there, yeah.
You know, but it doesn't. Which one? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, the one on the south side of the pyramid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You climb up. They're reasonably steep, but you climb with no big deal.
I can take my time.
Yeah. Yeah. You find yourself getting about halfway up, and you're sort of out of breath, and you pause. It's about 100 feet tall. So what is
Okay.
that? Like 10 flights of stairs.
Yeah. It's fine. I'll go up 5 flights, take a sit, look around. You said that these stairs over here were like 200 feet?
No, like 100 feet.
100 feet?
So
Okay.
the top of the stairs is pretty much at level with the top of the pyramid.
Okay. Cool.
So as you're paused, you're looking around, and you notice it's sort of built into this little basin, and the walls sort of slope in towards the base.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you catch your breath, and you continue to the top of the pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
Um, all right. So you reach the top. It's about actually. There's another layer. It's not that map's not, I guess not quite to scale. The top layer is like it's probably like 15 feet by 15 feet. It's a near perfect square.
Okay.
There is a about 3 to 4 foot size hole going straight down, and then in the very center there are runes carved in to the ground.
Can I read the runes at
So
all?
okay, so you step towards the runes, and then all of a sudden you hear a weird like. Your head starts to feel funny, and you look, and there's suddenly two figures standing to your left and right. The figure to your right is a gnoll, about 7 feet tall. He's wearing a robe made of like brightly colored tropical feathers.
I didn't notice
Um,
these guys
so,
climbing up the tower or the pyramid at
no,
all.
they're just suddenly there.
Okay.
Sorry, there's three figures. So there's a gnoll with brightly covered tropical feathers. Kneeling in front of him is a naked human, dark skinned,
Male, female?
in feathers, male. And then there is a black robed figure standing to your left. You look around and you notice that there's thousands of people everywhere. So the wall or the sloping sides of the basin are
Mm-hmm.
just packed full of onlookers. And then sort of down all four rows of steps are humans, also in like feathered garbs. They're mostly bare chested, but they wear like skirts of feathers and feathered hats,
Mm-hmm.
feathered headdresses. And then down the north facing staircase, or the north facing staircase, there is looks a couple dozen humans stripped naked and in chains or in ropes. You just watch the scene. No one appears to have noticed you.
Yeah, I take a few steps back so I can get a good view of the action on top of the pyramid,
Okay.
and I also glance to the other staircases to see if there are more humans in chains on the.
No, most of them are just lined up with humans in the feather garb.
Okay.
Only one of them has slaves. So the slave that is kneeling on top of the runes that you were just looking at.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the gnoll proceeds to hurl the slave to his back, and then pounce on top of him, and he claws into the man's chest cavity while he's still alive.
Disgusting.
And blood just flows freely from his chest and drips into the runes, filling them up. And then the gnoll pulls the man's heart out. At some point during this, he seems to have died,
Mm-hmm.
and the heart stops beating. So the runes fill with blood, and then they sort of start to glow. and the knoll sort of pulls the man out of the way so that he has access to the runes.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe he's reading them or just chanting, but he's speaking in some tongue that you don't understand. All right. So the runes glow brighter, and then all of a sudden you see the man who was just sacrificed. By the way, you do hear Beelzebub's name mentioned at some point or somewhere, and so there's a bunch of chanting that you don't understand, and then Beelzebub's name shows up once or twice.
Okay.
So you gather who's just sacrificed to Beelzebub. All right, and then the guy gets to the end, and the man who had just died sort of comes back to life with a start, and his heart starts beating in the knoll's hand, and then just a roar of applause comes up from the audience.
Interesting.
And the knoll sort of picks up the man and the heart like above his head, and then crushes the heart in his hand, and the guy dies again.
Dies again? What the fuck? Okay.
And then you see the black-robed figure looks straight at you, and you just see a huge, wicked ivory smile, his teeth, and two glowing blue points where his eyes should be. And then all of a sudden, you find yourself coming to on your knees, on your hands and knees, on top of the runes. Your head kind of hurts, and yeah.
And on that note, go ahead.
First break.
On that note, it's been an hour. Let's go to our first break. We'll see you guys in 5 or 10 minutes, or 3 to 5 minutes, with some more Dicing with Death.